Hi folks, it's Evil here from Thundermist Lure Company, and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. I am out here on Lake Erie. It's a gorgeous day, and what I'm going to do today, folks, I'm going to be using the new T-Drop, the new small size T-Drop, which is an inline drop shot rig, and down below it, I'm going to run a flexi jig. And on the flexi jig, I'm just going to have a twister tail. So when you're drop shotting, your drop shot goes about a couple feet above your bait or your sinker. I could put a sinker down here, or in this case, I've got a flexi jig. Anything just to weight it down. But this is the key here: is the T-Drop. That's your horizontal presentation, and there's no line twist above or below because there's a built-in swivel, and it makes for a nice horizontal presentation. So what I'm going to do on this drop shot rig is I am going to add a piece of night crawler, and I'm going to drop shot with the night crawler, and I'm going to have the artificial bait on the bottom. I'll use just a piece of night crawler, just like that. I'll put the other half in there. There you go. Now that drop shot rig is going to come through the water nice and horizontal, so I've got two choices. When you're drop shotting, you could just drop it straight down. If you've got a good drift going, just drop it straight down, let it hit to the bottom, and again, you could use a sinker on the bottom or a jig as you wish, and let it hit bottom, and then very simply, all you're going to do is drift. And what's going to happen with that T-Drop, it's going to have a nice horizontal presentation. It's going to be about 2 feet off the bottom, so right in the strike zone, and hopefully get into a bass or two. Now the other option is, I've got a real slow drift here, so if you've got a real slow drift, you can cast, give a cast, and then what you would do is same technique, let it get to the bottom, and then just slowly move it towards you. So then you could bounce the jig off the bottom a bit, and again, your T-Drop with that drop shot presentation is going to be 2 feet above, always horizontal, makes for a nice presentation, and it's a good way to fish, especially for, oh, I got something biting on there, could have been a goby, especially for those tentative fish. If the fish seem to be a little bit shut down or a little tentative, the drop shot rig is definitely the way to go. It's a nice finesse presentation. I'm hoping to get in some fish today, folks. It's a great day, so glad you could join me. There's a pickup. There was a pickup right there. Now, I don't know if he's on the drop shot or on the flexi jig, but that was a really nice pickup. And what I did is I just tossed my line out there a bit, slowly worked it back towards me, and boom, I picked up my first hit. Okay. Feels like a decent fish too. He hasn't broken water yet, so it could be a sheephead, because normally the smallies will come up and jump, but this one hasn't jumped yet, but we shall see. Okay. Let's see if I can get a look at him. Oh, it looks a little silvery. It looks like a sheephead to me. And a strong one too. Oh my, okay. And what did he take? Let's see what he took. He took the flexi jig. Oh, they are strong. Okay, fasten that here. Actually, that was a nice bite and a nice fight. Sheephead are a lot of fun. All right, I was starting to wonder because he didn't jump, so I kind of had a funny feeling it was a sheephead. All right, there we go. Well, there's the start to the day right there. Actually, that's a decent sized Lake Erie sheephead right there. All right, let's get him back in. Now, was it him who took my worm? Something hit my worm on the T-Drop as well, so I'm going to get that re-rigged right now and back in the water again. Okay, picked one up on the second rod. You're allowed to use 2 rods on Lake Erie, so I thought, you know what, let's get a second one going. This one also is staying down. It feels more like a smallie, but maybe not. It could be another sheephead. We shall see. And again, it'll be interesting to see if he took the jig. I got the exact same setup with the flexi jig and the T-Drop, and it's looking a little silver. So it looks like we got ourselves another freshwater drum. And this one looks like he came on. Yeah, he took the T-drop. He took the T-drop, so he's on the drop shot rig. So he went for that subtle presentation and took the worm. There we go. Not as big as the other sheephead. But the drop shot presentation really, really does work. All right. So, there we go. There's another nice size sheephead. And again, another nice hit. See if I can lip lock him here. There we go. And get that T-drop out of the mouth there. Oops. Okay, let's try that again. Lip lock. And I might need a pliers. It's right in the side of the mouth there. There we go. Okay, he took the worm. And let's get him right back in the water again. All right, so no smallies yet. Away he goes. And it looks like I need to rig this one up with another worm. Meanwhile, I got my other rod still in the water there. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let one rod basically just hang straight over the edge of the boat as this slow drift. So a nice little slow presentation. That's what this rod was doing, and that's why he hit that T-drop. And with my other rod, I'm gonna work it, cast it, and work it back towards me. So let's get this guy re-rigged with another worm, and back in I go. This one came on the drop. That one's on the cast, this one's on the drop. So that's two fish now on the drop with the more subtle approach. And again, he's not jumping, so I'm thinking it's another sheephead. And it looks like that's what we're getting today, folks. We are getting sheephead. We're getting sheephead. And he's taking drag. Oh boy. And did he come on the jig or on the T-drop? Oh, he came on the T-drop as well. Okay. Let's get the net. There's another drop shot. Drop shot sheephead. Right there. Okay. Let's see if he's gonna cooperate and get him off the hook. There we go. That was easy. Okay, another freshwater drum. Another freshwater drum. Okay. Now, as you know, I'm using night crawlers here on the T-drop, but when you're drop shotting, you could use any bait you want. Minnows work well, leeches work well. You could put on a crayfish. You could use a worm like I'm using today. And you could use the T-drop, and you could drop shot in salt water as well. And if you go in salt water, I like to use the extra large T-drop. It's got a huge hook on it, and you could run cut bait in salt water. That's what I like to do in salt water. So drop shotting is not just for fresh water. You can drop shot in salt water too with a lot of success. Again, it's that subtle presentation. So this rod, I'm just going to put straight down. That's the one that I'm casting. Looks like it's hitting bottom there. And this is the one that I'm going to work back to the boat, and that's the one that I'm just going to leave. And all I'm doing here, very subtle, I'm just lifting it and just keeping a very, very subtle presentation. This, of course, is the subtlest because all we're doing is drifting, and that's just straight up and down, and it's just coming across the water. But this one, I'm just kind of moving it a bit. And again, by doing this technique, I'm actually covering more water with this than I am with that, but that's producing the fish. Like I said, the subtle approach is catching all the fish. That's the third one now. So it's that subtle drift finesse approach that's triggering these hits. And it looks like we're in a sheephead zone here, folks. We're getting sheephead, so freshwater drum it is today. And let's see what he came on. Yeah, he came on the T-drop as well. So you're looking at another drop shot fish right there. Mind you, even though most of these fish are coming on the drop shot, I still like to use a jig on the bottom as opposed to a sinker, because as you know, that first fish came on the jig, so why not have a jig as a second bait? Okay, so I just rigged, that was like 30 seconds later, I just rigged that up. Okay, looks like the sheephead are getting smaller. We started actually in about 28 feet of water, and we're in 25 feet right now. And I need to get this rigged again with another piece of worm and just drop it straight right back down again. The verdict is out. The subtle approach is definitely producing more fish than the more aggressive cast and retrieve approach. Oh, and I bet I got another sheephead anyway. That's okay. Oh, you could drop shot for a variety of fish. Bass love drop shot, obviously sheephead. But don't be afraid to use the drop shot for walleye. It's a great technique, especially if those walleye are a little finicky. The drop shot really, really works well. Okay, and I got myself another freshwater drum, and he took the T-drop on the drop shot. There we go. Well, I'm having fun, that's for sure. Not what I was out here after, but when you put a live bait down there, especially with a night crawler, you really could catch anything. And there you go, Mr. Sheephead. And away he goes. You know what, folks, I'm having a great time out here, even though I'm just catching sheephead. I know there's bass in here somewhere. I'll get into them sooner or later, but for now, I'm just gonna keep drifting away. If you get an opportunity, give drop shotting a try. It's a lot of fun. When you need that finesse approach, it really does make a difference. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. And as always, folks, until next time, good luck and good fishing. Time to re-rig.